Hello and welcome, my name is Vlad, and I've participated in GMTK Game Jam 2021 this weekend. As the title of this video implies, mistakes were made, and in the end I wasn't able to submit a game. I don't want to make any drama of this situation. Whole point of this video is to show what I want to make, what I was able to make in these 48 hours, and tell you a story about what went wrong and why I made a decision to not submit despite it being very hard for me. In the description you can find a link to the final version of this game. I want to clarify that this version wasn't made in the time of the jam and wasn't submitted. It's my director's cut version kinda, showing what this game should have looked like. Obviously, this game won't get as much attention as games submitted to the jam, so it's very important that as much of you as possible play this game and leave feedback here or on the itch.io page of the game. This feedback would really mean a lot to me. But let's get to the story itself. It all started a week before the jam, when I started to figure out my plans for the week. I had a lot of work for uni, and it was questionable if I would have a full weekend just for the jam. Having just 48 hours to make a game isn't easy, but having 48 hours to make a game and deal with other stuff is almost impossible for solo dev in my opinion. Around the same time, Game Maker's Toolkit channel uploaded a video about a team finder. So I decided that this is the best solution for me. If I'd work on game in team, I'd surely have enough time and would be able to find a bit to deal with uni. Speaking of GMTK Team Finder itself, I think it's a very powerful tool. In less than a week, quite a lot of people contacted me and offered to team up with them. But my time zone, GMT+10, is not like an ordinary time zone, and finding someone who wouldn't have a horrible time difference with me was quite a hassle. I've gone through the list of devs looking for a team and found one who claimed to know Godot, be an artist, and he was also located in my time zone. So I contacted him and we had a good chat, in which we decided to team up. I like his attitude and art portfolio. To this day I think that he is a great artist. We decided that he will mostly work on art for this project, and I will be responsible for the code. Days went by, and here we are at the point of theme reveal.
The theme is Joined Together.
I worked hard whole week before that, and at this point already knew that it's almost guaranteed that I don't have to worry about my uni on this weekend. This was a great news. It meant that I can spend more time on the game and also have plenty of time to rest. We had a brainstorming meeting where all of the important decisions about the game were made. It was decided that the main gameplay mechanic is to connect parts of the city which is flying in the sky together using bridges, so that the people on the islands would be able to evacuate before the whole city is destroyed by war machines. It was also decided that this will be a puzzle game where a player has 3 types of actions. First, build a bridge, which also lets you instantly use this bridge. Second, jetpack, which lets you move from one part of the city to another without bridges and also allows you to move through bigger gaps. And third, command action, which lets you move people from one part of the city to any other neighboring part without a bridge. Each action has a limited amount of users per level. Also, amount of turns you can make is additionally limited to make more of diverse puzzle scenarios. For this game we've chosen a mix of steampunk and World War I styles, because this artist had a lot of great dark and grimy artworks, so War drama scenario would fit his art style perfectly. Bioshock Infinite and Valiant Hearts The Great War were chosen as the main references for this style. At this point my mindset was that: first, specifics of art for this game wasn't of my concern. I gave my thoughts, references and specified all the assets I need to make a core gameplay loop. But I had no thoughts about specific art style I'd draw these assets in, and I surely wasn't able to visualize most of these assets in my head. I just believed in this artist and in the fact that he can do this job better than me. And second, core mechanic of this game is simple, and it's better to spend my time on polishing the game and working on tools that would make process of designing levels easier. With this in mind, I decided to start by creating an engine for these puzzles, with visual puzzle design and editing tools. And even now I wouldn't say that this was an overkill, because by having this tool, both of us would be able to easily create a lot of levels. And without it, the process of making levels would be unintuitive, which is a big deal when you are working in team, because what's clear to you isn't always clear to others, especially when it sounds like just put an array into the array in the top part of the script, and then fill this array with width, height and bunch of nodes, their positions and collectible items. I think you've got why you might want to spend your time on making a good tool, even in your Game Jam project. For this specific project, main difficulty in making of this tool is the fact that part of the city might have an additional collectible tools, which player can collect to get additional actions. Grid-like city map looks like a task for a tile map, but people familiar with Godot know that tile maps in this engine aren't good at these types of tasks. Every tile of this map is just a static image, it's not scriptable and can store any information. So I had to figure out another way to solve my problem and create editor from scratch. And that's exactly what I did, made an editor from scratch using Node system. Making this tool as user-friendly as possible took a lot of my time, but I finished with it and all the gameplay mechanics at the end of the first day. Only thing left to do about the gameplay is an implementation of the end conditions. At this point you might expect that, yeah, here it is, story about a difficult problem that took a whole day and etc. But no, it's a simple breadth first search, one of the most basic algorithms on graphs. You can implement it in half an hour even without any prior knowledge of it. Wait, what might have gone wrong then, if I had a working prototype at the morning of the second day? Well, as some of you might have already understood, my teammate was just unable to make any assets. Again, I assume that he is a good artist, but being a good artist sometimes not enough to be a good game artist. He tried to draw something all of this time, but was struggling a lot. It wasn't fitting to the concept, and wasn't fast enough anyway. He did some tiles which won't fit into the original idea, but these assets are good enough. This was the only asset I really wanted to use in the game. But, in fairness to the artist, in the end I decided to not use these tiles. All of the other times he tried to create a main character sprite, but sadly every time it wasn't even close. So, around the halfway point of the second day, I knew for the fact, he's not going to make it in time. And at this point I've already spent quite a lot of time stalling and waiting to get at least a broad idea about the art style of our game, to start working on style title, menus and fitting fonts. Also, don't forget what I said earlier. I trusted this person to make whole look of the game on his own, and wasn't thinking about how I would visualize it. So here I am, with less than 12 hours on the clock, alone, and with no visuals. No idea of how to do them, and no inspiration for it. This might have been a great point to give up, but I'm not the type of person. I exhaust myself first and give up after that. Don't worry, just joking. I actually decided to do as much as I can to make this game playable. But in the end I got to the point at which free assets from Kenny couldn't help me anymore, and it was late at night, there still wasn't enough visuals, and even with all the visuals in place, I wouldn't be able to create any interesting levels in time. I was fucked. I can either draw everything but have no levels, or create levels but players won't understand it anyway because of the visuals. So, in this situation, I decided to call it a day. It was very sad to get as far as this and then stop, and not upload my piece, just because there is nothing to show. In the end, I want to ask myself one question. Was it possible to finish this game in 2 days doing it solo from the start? And my opinion is, yes, it was possible. Not working on editor, or at least not trying to make it as user-friendly, is a huge time saver. Not stalling, but drawing at this time is another huge time saver. What's more important, knowing that I am working alone meant other mindset in which I'd start thinking about visuals from the start, and would do it while coding. And, in fact, all I needed was just a few additional hours and a bit of inspiration. In all fairness, I don't know if I would came up with this game idea in first place without this person, but I made sure to not use any of his work and not violate his rights in this regard. I think that I was in a hurry to find any teammate and wasn't careful enough about this. I've put too much trust in other person without knowing if he could handle this job. So, I'm not going to blame anybody and not going to say any names, nor leave any links. It's my fault and this is my story. Hope you liked it and checked out the game. Feedback about it is very important. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, have a good day and bye.